Ever since the first Yellowstone prequel started airing last year, figuring out the Dutton family tree has been difficult, but I've been looking into this over the last few days, and here's the full family tree as of December 2022. Spoilers ahead from the first 5 seasons of Yellowstone, 1923 episode 1, and the first season of 1883. The first and last couple of generations are the easiest to figure out. The middle part is where it gets a little bit fuzzy, so let's start at the top with James Dutton. Along with his wife Margaret, he moved to Montana in 1883 and founded the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. James passed away in 1893 and Margaret died a year later. Before she died, Margaret reached out to James's brother Jacob, who arrived in Montana with his wife Kara to run the ranch and take care of James's family. Jacob and James also had a sister. Her name was Claire, and she offed herself after her daughter Mary Abel was killed by bandits. Claire's husband Henry had already died at this point, so that's the reason behind Claire's decision. Coming back to James and Margaret, they had 3 children. The eldest was Elsa and she was fatally wounded on the journey to Montana. John Sr. was the middle child and Spencer was the youngest. Elsa's voiceover in 1923's premiere revealed that only one of James's children lived to see their own children grow up, and that person was John Sr. He was married to Emma and they had a son named Jack, which is where things start to get murky. To make this a little bit easier, we have to place Kevin Costner's character John III on the board, and we know that he has to be on the 5th generation row because that is how his son Jamie introduced him in the season 5 premiere of Yellowstone. Quote, "The future of Montana is a 5th generation rancher whose family moved here 6 years before Montana became a state." End quote. So because John III is a 5th generation rancher, that means that his grandfather must be Jack, which in turn means that Jack's fiancée Elizabeth Strafford gave birth to John Jr. For a long time it was thought that John Sr. was John Jr.'s father, but it doesn't look like that'll be the case because of that 5th generation comment by Jamie. Furthermore, there was a comment from Jacob in the first episode of 1923 when he's with Elizabeth's father Bob and they're watching Jack and Elizabeth kiss. Jacob advises Bob not to look at a calendar when his daughter gives birth, suggesting that Jack and Elizabeth have already done the deed before their marriage, and Elizabeth is pregnant. So in all likelihood, John Jr. is on his way, and that's why this family tree looks this way. Moving on to the 4th generation, it is not clear if John Jr. has any siblings, but it is unlikely. His wife's name is also unknown, but one of the trailers from Yellowstone Season 5 showed a tombstone that belonged to a Patience Dutton. I believe Patience could be John Jr.'s wife, but for now that's just a guess. What we know for certain is that John Jr. had at least 2 sons. One of them is John III, and the other one is Peter. John III revealed this information in the 4th episode of Season 5 of Yellowstone, saying that Peter only lived for about 18 hours. John III got married to Evelyn. They had 3 children together and adopted another one. Their firstborn was Lee, who died in the premiere of Yellowstone. Beth was their only daughter, and Casey was their youngest child. They adopted Jamie after Jamie's biological father Garrett killed Jamie's mother Phyllis. And there's some speculation about Phyllis being Evelyn's sister or even John III's sister, but those are just rumors for now. 2 members of the 6th generation have gotten married so far. Casey is with Monica and Beth is with Rip. Casey and Monica have a son named Tate, and he is the first 7th generation Dutton. Jamie has a son too, with his former political consultant Christina. We learned in the 5th season of Yellowstone that this little fella is named after his father, so he's Jamie Jr. Last but not least, Casey and Monica had another son in season 5 and named him after his grandfather, John, but the baby didn't live for long as he was born premature following a car accident. Now that we've established that there are 7 generations of Duttons, it is time to mention an important quote from the end of 1883. Toward the end of their journey, James and company were looking for somewhere beautiful to call their home. A crow elder by the name of Spotted Eagle pointed them toward Paradise Valley in Montana, but he warned James that in 7 generations, his people would rise up and take it back from the Duttons. This has led many viewers, including myself, to speculate that Tate will eventually inherit the ranch at the end of Yellowstone, and that is how Spotted Eagle's forecast will become reality. Because not only is Tate a 7th generation Dutton, but also his mother's side is from the Broken Rock Reservation. So Tate taking over the ranch would mean Spotted Eagle's people taking the land back, although maybe not in the way he foresaw. And with that little theory, we are done. Special shout out to Blue Gorilla for pointing me in the right direction before I made this video. Please be sure to subscribe and like this video if you found it useful. I'm covering every episode of Yellowstone and 1923, so be sure to tune in to my breakdowns every week. Leave your comments down below and I'll see you in the next video.